the studio and right into the car and right into the road as we do another live stream. One of the most epic mixed martial arts live streams in the history of mankind, and I'm about to show you why. Delving into multiple topics revolving around MMA, and as such, this everything else but MMA. And that's talking about the culture within the internet of MMA and the culture that is surrounding it. That's the beauty of MMA, right? As I was saying before, and I've said this multiple times over and over again, we are not what you would call a shut up and bull kind of sport. Not whatsoever. Every space, whether it's fighters, promoters, managers, trainers, you name it, anybody that's part of this world that you call MMA, they have one thing in common. They're very intricate in understanding world politics. They're also very well versed in having multiple types of knowledge and multiple types of skills outside of MMA, right? Which, by the way, makes it a very fascinating culture. This is why we got people like MMA Guru, who sort of gets a little bit political in his MMA stream. Even though he's a pure MMA stream, he does get political, but to a certain extent. Not so much to the extent that we would have in the United States when it comes to freedom of speech. Because as you know, England doesn't operate in the same fashion that America does. And what exactly do I mean by that? Well, the way that America operates is you can say what you want as long as you're not yelling fire in a movie theater, right? That's sort of the general rule when it comes to freedom of speech. But we live in a society where you have to work for a corporation. At least some of you do. And even if you don't work for a corporation, you got to work for somebody. And when you're working for somebody, you better rest assured that you are not free whatsoever. You say one wrong thing and undo a button. No, I'm not going to undo a button. Shout out to Crane, my man. Let me know what part of the world you are from. Stop yelling at me. Ain't nobody yelling at you, my man. I don't even know you, or I'm in front of your face, but I don't know what you mean by me yelling at you. But on any regards, I'm very happy that you are here nonetheless. And if you feel that I'm yelling at you, well, good, because I don't even know you to even be yelling at you. So if you feel that way, feel how you want to feel. But welcome to the channel anyway, my man. Shout out to you. Let me know what part of the world you are from. But yeah, man, that's MMA culture in a nutshell. With that, you get an MMA culture where now you got somebody like Khabib, somebody like Islam being invited to the Champions League in the PSG finals win that they got. Also, know what you mean by that. From Nova Scotia, Canada, shout outs to Jack Nickerson. My man, Jack Nickerson, shout outs to you, my man. Nova Scotia, Canada. That's what I'm talking about. Everybody, don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, because I'm about to give you the ultimate ride of your life in this epic live stream. And you know what? You can contribute to the live stream as well by dropping some comments, letting me know how you feel about certain topics that we're going to bring up. Because the other topics that we're going to bring up also deals with the antitrust lawsuit that is going on with the UFC. Okay, iCrane says Charleston, South Carolina. All right, that's what's up, my man. That's what I'm talking about. You know what? I don't know what it is, right? I'm starting to get more of an American audience. Obviously, I'm American-based. I live in California. But when I started YouTube, the majority of my listeners were UK, obviously California, but now I'm spreading out in different parts of the United States. I'm originally from New Jersey, but I live in Sacramento, California right now, so I'm all over California. In this live stream, you usually see me around Sacramento. Sometimes I'll be down in Venice Beach in LA. Sometimes I'll be in Monterey. Sometimes I'll be out in the Bay, San Jose. Whatever way it is, the CA California way, yay. But on any regards, yeah, that's where I'm from right now. You know, Sacramento, California represent. And William Rebel says Trump is a taco and a chicken. Dev YouTube says, hi, bro. Hi, how are you, man? Let me know what part of the world you are from, Dev Y2. I think I've seen you in here before. But yeah, to answer Crane's question, I am from Sacramento. So, I mean, grow up in Jersey, but I'll represent Sacramento because I pretty much established my life here. And yeah, Senator says, hi, how you doing, Senator? Shout out to you. Senator, that's a new one. Let me know what part of the world you are from. I'm assuming probably the United States, but if so, let me know what part. So, as I was saying in the beginning of the stream, right? MMA is a very influential sport. So much so that you got Khabib in there with iSpeed, okay, a very famous streamer, and which is strange in and of itself that they invited iSpeed in the Champions League broadcast. But on any regard, he's very big in Europe. He's big in the United States. He's big everywhere across the globe. And as a result of that, well, you know what? I think it was a good marketing scheme for them to do so. Bringing Khabib in as well was an even bigger marketing scheme because, let's be honest, right? The PSG Paris football club has a lot of Muslim players. One of the Muslim players is Hakimi. Now, for those of you that don't know anything about Hakimi, oh my goodness, have I got a story for you. All you red pill guys, all you guys that listen to Andrew Tate, all you guys that listen to Kevin Samuels, all of that. I mean, this is right up your alley right here. You're going to love this content that we're going to talk about right here regarding this particular bloke. Because this guy, Hakimi, got a divorce from his wife, and the wife ended up with nothing. And this is a famous soccer player. Look, he's now the Champions League champion. Right? So it sounds like an oxymoron, the Champions League champion. But put it like this, right? It is one of the most prestigious cups that you can win outside of a World Cup because it's the highest cup that you can win with your club, not with your national team. And if you understand anything about soccer, you know what I'm talking about. Sanchez says, hello, are you American? What is your ethnicity, please? I am half Arabic and half Islander. Put it like that, right? I'm Pacific Islander and half Arabic. So the Pacific Islander side is obviously more of my American side, and the Arab side is more of my Muslim heritage. So I hope that answers your question. Let me know what part of the world you are from, Mr. Sanchez. Are you from the United States? Are you from Mexico? Are you from a neighboring part? And if so, what state? I'm assuming maybe Texas, maybe Arizona, maybe LA, or maybe California. But on any regard, welcome. I'm very glad that you guys are here. I'm very glad that everybody is here to tap in. Okay, perhaps Filipino, yes. Yes. So you know, I'm from Stockton 8th Street. So I let you guess what that is. And if you guys know anything about Stockton 8th Street, if you guys know anything about the California gang world, well, I'm going to just leave it at that. So I'm a Mexican-American legal. I love how you mentioned that you're legal, right? You know, in my opinion, regardless of, let's say, documents, you are legal, bro. Listen to me. I'm going to tell you something right now, Mr. Sanchez. Me and the other gringos in America, we're all visitors. This is your land. Now, it doesn't take away from the accomplishments that we made and the contributions that we made towards this land. But the reality is this is your land, not ours. We're visitors, every single one of us. And so if you're not indigenous, you're not Native American, you're not all of that, you know, you're a visitor. And people like Sanchez and his people like the Mayans, the Mexicans, you could even, you know, put the Puerto Ricans and all the other Caribbean people in there. If you're not one of them, bro, you're not our true. I mean, you know, American is a made-up nationality, but you're not from here, is what I'm saying. So, Pinoy brother, okay, cool. All right, that's what's up, my man. What part of the United States are you from? Assalamu alaikum by Furman Duaz. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh to you, my brother. I hope you're having yourself a beautiful Tuesday, and we're having a very productive Tuesday right now. Did a live stream earlier, dropped the video early this morning, and we're going to get it on and cracking right here in Sacramento, California, as we represent. So, all right, here we go, guys. The antitrust lawsuit going on, right? Now, look, it's an ongoing case, but I do have certain opinions and takes on this particular matter, and in particular, the fighter pay. I'm going to tell you what I don't like about the fighter pay conversation, right? You see, it's very disingenuous on both sides. And I don't want to say this to sound like I'm making a false equivalence, because I'm not. The reason why I don't like this talk about fighter pay is because it is the ultimate decision of both the fighters and the promotion to agree or disagree on the particular matter at hand when it comes to, let's say, agreeing to a wager. Okay? That's the biggest complaint that a lot of people have. You have to fight your way into a contract that is lucrative for you. That's what it is. You got to fight your way to a contract that is lucrative. Now, are you going to make a lot of money in the beginning? No. But what you have to do is create an opportunity for yourself, because even Dana White said it in regards to fighter pay. He said something to the extent, what did he say? He said, this is not a career. This is not a career. It's not a career. It's not a job. It's not anything but an opportunity. And you're probably thinking, well, isn't a career an opportunity? Why do they even have career mode on UFC fight games? Well, it's not a career in the conventional sense. You go to school, you want to become a plumber, you want to become an engineer, you want to become a doctor, you want to become a nurse. That's your career. You train for it, you get a degree, you get certified, and then you go on and you work in that career. That's a career. The UFC is not a career, it's an opportunity. There is no academy other than, of course, the PI Center, and at which you're already established at that point, where you have an opportunity for where you have a chance to make it into a career. You have to take the opportunity. You have to take the opportunity, and as such, taking that opportunity, you have to make something out of that opportunity. So, okay, I'm going to read this one comment real quick, and then I'm gonna step out and take a little bit of a break. Just hold on just a second. So Sanchez says, yes, I'm okay. I am of Native people. Very nice of you to recognize that and appreciate it. Yeah, of course, my man, because you know what? It is nothing more than the objective truth. So we will talk more about that. Give me about 2 minutes real quick, okay? I have to drop something off. Sorry about that. Yeah, I had sorry, I had muted there for a second. Okay, so we're back. Sorry. As I was accidentally muted, he said, I am a senior citizen, so I'm not fight, but very interesting. Okay. And Shinsen says, Allen's snack bar. Yeah, I don't know what you mean by that. I think you're trying to say something really slick in that comment, but, just watch yourself, okay? I'm going to let that one slide because I know what you mean by that. I know you ain't talking about somebody's snack bar named Allen. I can tell you that much. I definitely know you're not talking about that. What you really want to say is Aloha snack bar, and you know exactly what you're trying to say, but on any regard, whatever. I'm glad you're here. Shout out to you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, but yeah, just be very respectful at that. Okay, so as I was muted, I had mentioned that Dana White said something to the effect of, well, you know what? This is a career opportunity, not necessarily, what do you call it? This is not necessarily a career, right? Because, yes, you're not going to make a lot of money from the very beginning. You're not going to make a lot of money from the very beginning. And as a result of not making a lot of money from the very beginning, you're going to have some sacrifices to make. But if it falls through and people actually like your fighting, people actually like what you do, you rise up through the ranks, but not only rise up through the ranks, also promote yourself, you will be paid handsomely. But here's another thing. You're the minority, okay? When it comes to people that are getting paid a whole lot of money in the fight business, you are the minority. Sanchez says, Dana White seems like a nice man, but of course I do not know him. Well, I tell you what, man, that's very interesting. I'm going to tell you why, right? So your assessment on Dana White is that he's a nice guy. Aren't all of us nice guys? Like right now, Sanchez, right? I'm having a cordial conversation with you. I come across as a nice guy. Well, why is that? Because I'm speaking to you very respectfully, because I have no reason to disrespect you. I have no reason, you have no reason to disrespect me. So, of course, we're going to have a nice, cordial conversation. With that, we're showing the best version of ourselves. Now, can you imagine, Sanchez, if you ran across me at a traffic light on a road rage incident? For whatever reason, maybe you cut me off and I got mad at it. I mean, I never get mad at these things, right? I never get mad at, people cutting me off, or, if someone, or if I cut someone off. I mean, I've had people follow me from that. But, yeah, you put yourself in that situation that pisses you off. Maybe I'm not going to be such a nice guy. Now, look, Dana White, very vindictive person, right? At the same time, what I will say that sort of goes into what you're saying about Dana White being a nice guy, even though he may be a business rival of yours, or you may have contrasting ideas or have some kind of disagreement, he does show his kindness here and there. Here's an example. Muhammad Mokaev. He gets kicked out of the UFC after beating Manel Cap. They didn't want to re-sign his contract anymore. Okay, he gets that win. He gets out of the UFC, and then he gets into a car accident. After that car accident, guess what Dana White did? He billed the entire hospital bill for Muhammad Mokaev. Now, I don't know what kind of hospital bill that Muhammad Mokaev has going on, because remember, Muhammad Mokaev is under the jurisdiction of England, right? And England, you don't got to pay for anything when it comes to that, but you do have a long waiting line in the NHS. So that's that. We're going to get rid of this guy right here. We're going to get rid of this guy. He says one more comment. We're banning you up out of here. Like the scream, double tap the screen. Yes. Omar said he paid Cain Velasquez's bail. That's true, right? He absolutely did. Now, look, does that mean that Dana White is a nice guy? I mean, you could say that he's a nice guy, but you could also argue that Dana White is doing that because it's a good PR move. Let's be honest about it, right? Dana White is pulling off a good PR move there. He paid for Cain Velasquez's bail. He did, but now you're talking about it, right? Not just you, but everybody else around the world. They're talking about it. So as you're talking about it, guess what? Guess who looks like the hero in all of this? Because this case with Cain Velasquez is an absolute travesty. Okay, it's an absolute travesty. Look, here's the thing. He's a former world champion, and he can't post bail. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about that. How are you a former world champion and you can't post bail? There's something very fundamentally wrong with that picture. Sanchez says, I only hear good things about him. Perhaps I'm wrong. I'm okay with being wrong. I only know what I know. Yeah, man, shout out to Sanchez, bro. You know what? The way that you put that, I think I would word that in the same similar fashion as well when I don't know someone, right? You know, I've had homies, listen to me, bro. I've had homies that didn't like other people. They're like, oh, you know, I don't like this guy. This guy is a buster. This guy is a bitch, or this guy is no good. You know, don't hang with him, or this and that, right? I've heard all of that. But here's the thing about it. Here's the thing about it, right? I've gone out of my way to talk to my wife's boyfriend is a buster. My wife's boyfriend, oh man, Steven, I'm sorry to hear that. That sounds like a lot going on there. Oh my man, he said is a buster. Yeah, I'm sure he's a buster, all right. You know what I mean? But on any regard, yeah, it sounds like there's a lot going wrong there. Look, I've met these people that none of my other homies like. You want to know what kind of interaction I got with them? It was nothing but positive every interaction, right? And I was like, man, you know, what were the homies talking about? They were saying, yeah, this guy is no good. This guy is this, he's that. You know, but on any regard, it's like, you know, they're wrong. They're wrong because I'm getting a completely different interaction with this person. Everything that these people are saying is a complete opposite. Obviously, I'm not going to go into full details of who these people are. Not that you would know any of them. These are people that are within my personal life or my interactions. But just being general, in all the interactions where people have told me, hey, this person is no good or this person is bad or whatever, I usually go and talk to that person and find out they're actually pretty sound. They're actually pretty, you know, even Stevens, they're good people and this and that. Unless, of course, if the reputation is that the person is somehow a child molester or a predator of any kind, then all right, you know, then we got problems. You know what I mean? Then, you know, I'm going to take off on this dude or whoever it is, and then I'm going to probably further investigate if this person really is what they say he is, and if he is, then, you know, there's really nothing you can do about that but take action on a perpetrator to that magnitude. Omar says he has his flaws, but he's like a Vince McMahon character. I don't know if someone else would do a better job running the UFC. I tell you what, man, a lot of people are complaining about his job in running the UFC right now. And look, man, this is the way that it goes in every job, right? I've been in plenty of sales jobs before I got into corporate jobs. And when I got into corporate jobs, I've seen people perform at their best from the very beginning when they got hired, and then just started falling off slowly as they started getting burnt out from the work that they needed to do. This happens all the time. Now, look, Dana White has put in a lot of work from the early 2000s all the way to the 2020s, okay, literally 20 years into the game, and probably even more, to where he has now been in these situations where he's had his ups, he's had his downs, and on top of that, he was there when the company wasn't really anything, and then build it to the prominence and the mainstream level that it's at right now. But could he do a better job right now? Yes, I think he could do a way better job. But you also have to understand there's a lot going on behind the scenes to where it's more than just Dana White. Now, look, let's go back to the Muhammad Mokaev scenario, right? So obviously, Muhammad Mokaev gets kicked out of the UFC. And we don't know if that is the decision of Dana White. Now, in the last fight of Muhammad Mokaev in the press conference that night, Dana White had nothing but disparaging words to say about Muhammad Mokaev. Now, could it be that he's speaking for the company? Possibly. Could it be that he's speaking out of anecdotal experience? That's also a possibility. But why is it that he gave Muhammad Mokaev money after getting into a car crash, even after getting kicked out of the UFC? Well, that could mean a whole lot of things, right? It could just mean that, you know what, Dana White really is a kind and gentle person, and that business is business, and no matter what happens in business, he has his own human side to things. That's also a reality. But you also got to understand, man, human beings are very complex creatures on top of that. So, yeah, going off on a little tangent there on whether Dana White is doing a good job or not. So, Sanchez says, do not understand what buster means. I will look it up, but I will try not to judge. A buster. I mean, listen, okay, well, I'll tell you what a buster is. If you've been anywhere near the gang world, whether it's black gangs, Mexican gangs, or any type of Latino gangs out there, buster is a West Coast term for somebody that is scared to go and fight, right? Or somebody that doesn't put it down for his hood, that doesn't put it down for his barrio, and all of that, right? So that's basically what buster means. It's basically, yeah, gang vernaculars to the best of my ability in trying to make you understand what it is. But okay, moving forward. Now, Khabib and Islam. I mean, wow. I could not believe they were at the Champions League finals. It's almost like Khabib is building himself a new type of audience through the soccer world. Now, look, can you imagine? There's a lot of guys out there that probably don't know who Khabib is during that PSG game, right? During that Champions League game. They're all soccer fans, but now they're all probably MMA fans, and that's probably going to be good for Islam's current active career right now, where he has a championship fight coming up with JDM sometime in the future. And then on top of that, more people who watch that game are probably going to watch the fight. So that's the positive thing about it, right? You're just building a new set of audience, a new set of characters towards your way. I think that's the positive outlook that we can look at with this particular scenario. What else I wanted to mention about that? So yeah, okay, let's read these comments right now. Okay, Omar Tamim says, that was most likely a publicity stunt. He probably knew the fans were going to go crazy. This ex-fighter wasn't getting support from his ex-boss, but I got to disagree with you on the Kane bail. Okay, they do, LOL, they do now. Okay, they do now what, Omar? Let me know what that was in reference to. Was it something that I said when I was going on that tangent? And then Sanchez says, thank you for explaining. I am surprised I did not know this word. However, I am a senior. Sometimes these things do not apply to our life. I understand. So Buster is like a guy who is a chicken in the last minute. Yeah, that's pretty much the meaning of that slang behind the term. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, Mr. Sanchez. Yeah, very good way of putting it, actually. So, yeah, man, that's what we got going on with that, right? What else? So more on the UFC 316 fight week. It's obviously fight week. I don't know why I thought this fight was in Vegas. It's obviously going to be in New Jersey. But yeah, when you said tons of football fans didn't know Khabib, they do now. Yeah, that's true. They definitely do now. They're going to look it up. And then when they look up Khabib, then comes Islam. Here's one thing that's very beautiful about that team, by the way. Khabib, even though he's an inactive fighter, he's the more famous fighter out of Islam, and Islam is sort of okay with that. Islam is a current world champion right now. But it's almost like he doesn't care that Khabib gets all the attention more than he does. He's sort of okay with it. I think that is so cool. Right? maybe Khabib was just in a very what do you call it? In a very how do I say this? Uh, lucrative opportunity in his time of his career. You know what I mean? Like for example, you're never gonna get you're never going to get another Khabib because of the circumstances that was brought forth in his career. Like you're never going to get a Khabib ever, ever in your life. You'll never get another Khabib. It's damn near impossible to ever have another Khabib in your life because of the circumstances, the way that he won the belt, the way that he fought for the belt, the way that he fought Conor McGregor. You're never going to get anything close to that ever. Okay, I think I understand you. He says, Jito HD says, who's the GAF? I don't know. I don't understand what GAF is. So please let me know what that slang means. If you may, please let me know what that means on the comment section below if you can. That would be of a big help if you may, please. So what are some other interesting fights that I'm looking forward to in UFC 316? I'm looking forward to the Kelvin Gastelum and the Joe Pfeiffer fight because the way that I see Kelvin Gastelum, right? The best way to describe Kelvin Gastelum is that he is a gatekeeper. At this stage of his career right now, I think it's safe to say that he's a gatekeeper. Would you agree or disagree? Let me know in the comment section below if you guys agree or disagree that he is a gate. What's his name? If homeboy is a gatekeeper, Kelvin Gastelum. Hold on, let me pull over here. I'm gonna sit by a garden right now. I'm gonna show you guys a little garden that we got going on out here. A little urban garden that we have, right? It's a garden in an urban environment, which is interesting in and of itself. So let's get out of the car. All right. Precious asked me if I'm having a coffee. Sanchez asked me if I'm having a coffee. No, you know what this is? It is broth. I'm drinking broth right now. So just so you know, as Gastelum should be out of the UFC, he misses weight a lot and is basically inconsistent. I tell you what, if he beats Joe Pfeiffer this weekend, that could change a whole lot of things, right? Ben says hairline. What about it? What about it, my man? Like, are you here trying to make fun of something or this and that? I mean, because, you know, whatever you say about me, I'm twice the man that you will ever be, Ben. So let's not get this twisted, Ben. Ben, if me and you met in real life, I would absolutely destroy you. Okay? Mr. No name, no profile, no nothing. You could be a transgender for all I know. You could be AI. But yeah. Oh yes, brother. Perhaps bone broth. I like chicken broth. No, it's a chicken broth that I'm drinking right now, because I'm sort of like in. I'm not like having a full meal yet, so I'm just kind of waiting to eat later on. So in the meantime, check this out, man. Check out this garden right here. While we got the helicopter, the chopper, right here in front of us. You guys see that? I don't know if you guys can see the helicopter. There we go. Yeah, there's a helicopter right there. So yeah, Ben, thank you for reminding me of whatever, right? But at one point, gay meant happy in the 1950s, and then somewhere down the line, people sort of bastardized that word and made it into something else, unfortunately. But yeah, that's what we got going on here. So Okay, so Omar says, in all honesty, people talk about fighter pay and whatnot, but it ain't that hard to be in the UFC. Gastelum is average. You know what? MMA Guru said this on the DJ podcast. You want to know what he said? He said that it is a lot easier to be in the UFC than it is to be in the NFL. And do you agree with him? I wholeheartedly agree with him in that notion, right? It really is a lot harder to be in the NFL than it is to go into the UFC. There's no doubt about it, right? Like the reason why it is a lot harder. Ooh, man, this keeps falling. Sorry. I got to get a stronger stand right here. Okay. The reason why it is a lot easier to get into the UFC than it is in the NFL, the NHL, and all these other leagues. Because look, think of it like this, right? In the UFC, all you got to do is win a couple of fights in the regional scenes, maybe have a name under your belt, build a name under your belt, and then that's it. And then just like that, you're in the UFC. That's all you need. When it comes to the NFL, the NHL, you got to go through high school, and even before that, there's middle school, there's pee-wee tryouts and all this other crazy stuff. And then you got to go through middle school, high school, and then college. Unless, of course, you're Kobe Bryant or LeBron James that skipped college and just went straight into the pros right after an illustrious high school career. But either way, it's a lot harder to get into that process than just being at a gym. All of a sudden, you got a little bit of talent, and then next thing you know, you're in the UFC. It's a lot easier. I am like a librarian. I think people allowed to live their life the way theirs doesn't bother me. Yeah. Omar says exactly. That's why people can't expect to get paid as much as the NFL and the NBA stars. They say what they want, but unless you're Conor McGregor or Khabib or Alex Pereira, you don't deserve to get a high amount of money, Omar says. Omar, that is the point that I agree with you right there, right? Look, I need you guys to hit the like and subscribe button. I'm going to tell you why fighters are so entitled. Okay, do you guys want to hear why fighters are so entitled? And this is something that I've experienced being with fighters of all professional levels, right? Amateur, semi-pro, pros, UFC, ONE FC, right? TJ Dillashaw, Uriah Faber, Chad Mendez, Anthony Pettis. The list goes on of the names of guys that I've trained with. Hit the like and subscribe button right now. I'm going to tell you why fighters are so entitled in having the type of pay that NFL, NHL, and all these other guys have. Hit the like button right now. I'm going to tell you, okay? Okay, so Sanchez says, UFC so interesting. I actually know little to nothing about it. MMA, of course, I hear about it on the news and Joe Rogan's show, but I know very little about it. You know what, Sanchez? That's very interesting that you said that, right? I'm kind of glad that I'm getting people that come to this page that don't really know a lot about MMA, because the fact of the matter is, I am an MMA-centric page, right? Even though I'm an MMA-centric page, I still cover other subjects as well, right? And I'm glad that other people do recognize that. Okay, so give me a like, give me a subscribe. I'm going to tell you guys why fighters are so entitled and why they believe they should receive as much money as the NFL, NHL guys. Sanchez says, I watch boxing on HBO channel. Yeah. I remember back in the days they had that. Unfortunately, they don't have that anymore. So, okay. Now I'm about to tell you why fighters are so entitled. Look, man, fighters are very much the most entitled creatures in all of combat sports, if not all of sports. Well, I mean, I'm saying combat sports, yeah, fighters, but you know what I mean. They are the most, let me wait till this helicopter gets out of the way right here. Oh, what is this? Hold on. This helicopter is right here. Why is this helicopter right here? What is it doing? It's not moving. Where is this helicopter going? Look at this. This helicopter is going sideways. Yeah, Sanchez says again, I am older, but my perspective is different. Yeah, HBO boxing, was sorry about that. Okay, maybe it's a drone, maybe it's a chopper. Hey bro, how are you? What are you up to? That's some Marty Miller on that. Oh yeah, that is weird to see a helicopter not moving like that on drone or UAP. No, it is a helicopter, but yeah, it was just not moving. You have spinning circles, amigo. We cannot hear you. Just so you know. Okay, so I hope you guys can hear me now. Sorry, I had a little bit of some problems right there, a little connection problems. So if you guys didn't hear me, let me explain something to you, okay? Before it may have perhaps cut out. Okay, look. The reason why fighters believe that they should get paid more is because they believe that everybody loves fighting or watches fighting the way that they do. Look, I want to explain something to you guys to hit a dose of reality for those of you that think that fighting is bigger than what it really is. This Saturday, when Sean O'Malley and Merab fight, I want you to go to the store, okay? And I want you to look around. And I want you to look around the store and I want you to say, how many people in here are actually going to watch this fight? And if you talk to enough people, I'm telling you, they're going to say they don't know, they don't care, or they don't know anything about it. This is the reality of fighting. What you love is not the same as what everybody else loves. Okay, that's the reality of this situation. Yes, amigo, I can hear you now. Okay, thank you for that. Thank you for that, Sanchez. Yeah. So fighters are really the most entitled people in the world because they really believe that they need to get paid more than what they should. Because look, man, fighters are arrogant people. When I was fighting, I was a very arrogant person. Very arrogant. I mean, not arrogant to where I was narcissistic, where it was harmful towards other people, but I really felt like, the whole world revolved around me. And a lot of fighters think this way. What did my man say here? Hey, bro, how are you? I missed you. Do you remember me? Some young guy. Yeah, man, I remember you. Shout out to you, my man. Thank you for tapping in on this one right here. So yeah, guys, just remember that, right? Fighters are the most entitled creatures in the world, and they really believe that they need to get paid more than what they do. Now, look, here's the thing, right? They are getting some settlements. Because I tell you what, man, the UFC has a strong case. I mean, I'm sorry, these fighters have a strong case in their antitrust lawsuit. They really do. They got a strong case going. And as such, with the strong case that they got going on, they are going to get paid. But the settlement is not going to really do a lot. It's not really going to do a lot, to be quite honest with you. It really won't. It's not going to do a lot. And then imagine you get $200,000 for the settlement, right? Which is the type of money that some of these guys are going to get. That's going to last you maybe a year, maybe 2 years at most. I remember having, well, I don't want to say how much, but let me just say that I know what it's like having a lot of money all at once in your bank account, right? Whether it's tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or whatever number you want to come up with, right? That goes away really quickly. But I hope that gives you guys a perspective on why fighters think the way that they do. Yeah, many fighters really believe that they excuse me. Sanchez says, you have such a good point. I mentioned people my age watch boxing on HBO, but it was our culture. These days, so many people options do not watch the same, if that makes sense. I know what you mean, Sanchez. I think so. I think what Sanchez means is that back in the days, we had very limited amounts of content that we could watch, right? We had the regular channels, which the regular channels, the basic would probably come out to like 11 channels, and then after that, then you could ask for cable. When you have cable, then you have like maybe hundreds and hundreds of channels, and then next thing you know, all these other options came in, HBO, Showtime, and then the internet era came in. All of a sudden, everybody knows a wide range of different artists that the other guy doesn't know. There's so many choices out there. Now you got YouTubers like myself going on, making it on YouTube, doing something on YouTube, and then on top of that, building a name for themselves, right? So today, being famous doesn't mean the same thing as what it meant back then, right? There's internet famous, there's YouTube famous, and then there's Tom Cruise famous, right? But the difference with this generation, we're not really seeing a lot of people that are Tom Cruise famous, for that matter. Speaking of which, let's take a look at this helicopter right here. I told you guys, most epic mixed martial arts channel in the history of mankind. You will never know where I'm going to take this live stream. He said, someone get my man a Coke. Do you use Stream East? I know not Stream East. Yeah, Stream East is what we use these days to watch stuff. So, okay, cool. Someone get my man a Coke. Sanchez says, yes, you are explaining this perfectly. Sanchez says, I am happy for your opportunity, of course. I just make observation. VR says, show your face, bro. I mean, have you not seen my face in this before? I mean, I don't need to show my face again. I mean, I've showed my face in the beginning of the stream. I don't know what the purpose is to show my face. I mean, I don't know why you'd rather see my face than to see this beautiful garden, but that's on you, my man. Speaking of which, let's walk around this garden. Show your face now. Okay, so there it is. Let's walk around this garden real quick. I like the garden, amigo. Yeah. Now show your legs. What a weird question to ask VR Shorts. A guy with the name Shorts is asking me to show my legs. My man, I have training videos in this channel. You know that, right? Like, if you really want to see how much of a badass I am, like, you could just check out my training videos in this channel. Like, I'm not trying to, let me give you there. Let me give you a dare. No, I'm not going to do any dares. I'm not here to like comply to people giving dares or anything like that. But shout out to you on any regard, VR Shorts. Let me know what part of the world you are from, my man. Alex says N. No. Don't do it, Alex. Nope, don't do it. Alex, you drop that R, I'm banning you. Alex, I'm putting you on a 1-minute timeout. I am from London, Christian Street, 34. Oh, wow. All right. Shout out to London, my man. Shout out to London. I always appreciate the English that come through in this channel. I got a lot of supporters from Ireland. I got a lot of supporters from Scotland. I mean, that's natural. You guys love fighting. So, Yeah, you guys are naturally going to be combat sports enthusiasts, so I'm glad to be running across you guys in any regard. But yeah, man, I know y'all got gardens like this in London, right? The same type of gardens in like London, like kind of like an urban garden type of thing going on. What is your height? 5'11", my man. I am 5'11". Uh, Sanchez says, I like music from London. Blessings to you. You know who I like in the London scene? I like Chase and Status, Central C, the rapper. I like him. Who else? Obviously, Neil Diamonds. I don't. Is he English? I know the English sing his song a lot. Where are you from? I'm from Sacramento, California. Represent, homie. Shout outs to you, my man. But yeah, Sacramento, California, represent in the house. So yeah, man. So what do you the garden, huh? Um, see, okay, let's see what Alex here. CUNT. All right, that's fine. Alex, you can say that. That's fine. Um I'm not gonna endorse any racism or anything like that, but banter is fine. Listen, here, the English, they love a little banter, right? I'm all right with banter, but yeah, I thought Neil Diamond was American. Perhaps I'm wrong. No, I'm just thinking he's English because uh what do you call it? Because a lot of the English sing his song in like boxing fights and all that. So yeah, Jesus Christ is amen. Repent now. The world is going to receive his judgment that day. Well, brother, I don't know if you could tell, but I'm Muslim. But on any regard, we welcome Christians here as well, and everybody here is absolutely welcome to tap in. Guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let the world know that you are here. Shout outs to London. Shout outs to Mexico. Shout outs to everybody around the world that is tapped in. Uh, Very fascinated by all the people that are in the chat right now and all the very interesting comments that they have going on. Jesus will appear in the year 2027, February 2027. Wow. Mark that day. That's wow, man, that's an interesting prediction on your part. Let's find out. Let's find out and see, man. What is your basis of the appearance of that day? Sanchez says, "Oh, okay. I did not know about Neil Diamond singing a famous fight song. Well, they play it in a lot of fights in England." So Alex says, "Shut up, VR. No one knows the day." All right. Well, there you go, man. Let's have a little debate between Alex and VR. Why is it that VR? You saw it in my. I saw it in your dreams. He says, "I saw it in my dreams," and I quote by VR shorts. So here's the thing, VR shorts, right? This is every time a Muslim or an atheist or somebody from a different faith presses a Christian on a question, they either say things like "believe me" or all these other really hyperboles that may not really have any metric or measurement or any sense of proof behind it. It's just often, well, you know what? Believe in me. It's my faith or this and that. I saw it in my dream. Look, in the world of science, like these things just, don't hold up. So I kind of agree with Alex there. Like, how do you know a day like that? And just because you saw it in your dream, like, what if you saw an expiration date of like 2027 somewhere while you were sleeping, and then that was the last thing that you saw? Who knows? Sanchez says, salutes to I am a Catholic, but it's good to break bread, as you would say. Of course, my man. Alex says it's in the Bible. No one know the day. I agree with that because you know what? Even in Islam, uh, we talk about how it is only Allah that knows the day of judgment and the day of Jesus' return. So VR Short says God created the world, so this world has nothing to do with science. Well, you know what? You're wrong about that in a sense where how are we going to measure things, right? You can't say that this world has nothing to do with science when you live in a world that doctors have to save people on an everyday basis. For example, like how is it that we got that helicopter up there? I mean, yes, God made all things, but it is man that creates things in terms of what God has blessed us with, right? Because we believe in Islam, we believe in accountability, right? We believe that God has given you blessings, but you have to be accounted for in being the king and the ruler of this domain in this land. So I think you understand. Um, Dumb as F. Science is just observation. BR says God is everything. BR Short says God is all. Okay, or you mean God is all? Well, that's what I mean. Again, this is what Christians love to say when they get pressed. You know, they say, well, God is God. Jesus is love. All these words, right? Believe in me. I am your savior. Okay. Well, how is it that we know that this man is, going to be resurrected? They'll say, well, believe in him. And there's no explanation. Sanchez says, young man, if I may, God is the top scientist. Okay. Alex says, God is freedom. Farmer Armor says, why do you keep comparing everything to an athlete's salary? To an athlete's salary. I don't understand the question. How is it that I compare everything to an athlete's salary, Farmer Armor? Let me know what you mean by that. Alex says, not love. So yeah, man, let me know. What do you mean by that? Okay, so VR Short says, God gave brain to human, and God kept the idea to make a helicopter inside the human brain, and humans made it. Like how God sent Jesus and did not come himself. Okay. I think Jesus is not the only one that he has sent. Obviously, he has sent more prophets prior to that. But then again, this is where Muslims and Christians sort of vary in our belief systems, right? We believe in um, that Jesus is a prophet and will return, just like you guys believe he will return, but we also don't believe that he's the Son of God in the conventional sense of God having, let's say, children with a mortal woman of some sort, right? Like, that's not the way that we see things. We also do believe that Jesus was born out of an immaculate birth. We do believe that, but the only difference is that we don't believe he's the Son of God in the way, or whether he is God in that kind of light, right? Uh, VR says Jesus is the only Son of God. Well, we believe as Muslims that God doesn't have a son. Sanchez says, I like hearing what you say, even if I don't agree with it. It's pleasurable to compare thoughts. Of course, my man. That's what it's always about. Alex says, this life is a test. We believe that as Muslims as well. The human body is a blood factory. When in pain, adrenaline in our bodies make our blood more potent. Okay, very interesting take. Alex says scared people taste better. Huh? Is that right? Well, that's why we believe in halal meat, Alex. We believe that eating a meat that is not scared or did not panic is the best way, which is why we behead all of our goats, all of our chickens, all of our cows, because we believe it's a humane way of dying rather than dying of like, a high level of stress from, getting blown up or getting shot or something like that. Hell is being milked for eternity, Alex says. Sanchez says that he means for reptilian people, I think. Oh, okay. Okay, I see what you mean. All right, man. So we're having some really interesting conversations here. So yeah, man, we're gonna leave the garden right now. We're gonna go for a ride and get up out of here, and then continue on this conversation in the car. Those unworthy of God. Okay, Alex says those who are unworthy of God. Who's unworthy of God? Alex? Well, okay, that's a bit of a loaded question. I'm sure there's a multitude of answers to that. But yeah, hold on just a second. I really like how this conversation turned into a religious conversation. And you know what? I think I think we should keep that religious topic going right now on the chats, if you may. Right? Let's keep those conversations going about religion, because I agree with Alex on that one. But I also agree with what VR is talking about when he said that yes, God is all things, right? But it is us that made these things from the materials that God has given us. For example, this car or the helicopter that we just seen fly by every second. Yes, there are minerals and specific products that is made from Earth that we made as human beings in order for things to fly and things to drive and things of that nature, right? So I do understand that. Sanchez says, "What do you call God, amigo? Allah?" I think yes, yeah. Just like how I think you call it Dios in Spanish, or maybe Dios has some sort of derivative of Jesus's name of some sort. But on any regard, yes, it is Allah for Arabic. It is Allahway for Aramaic. I also think that it is Yahweh for Judaism or Hebrew, right? So, yeah, it's just saying God in a different language. That's really what it comes down to. Oh, yes. El Dio, yes. Okay, so Sanchez says it says El Dio, so the God, El as in the God, or yeah. Okay, so yeah, man. A lot of people sort of make a big deal out of it, right? Like especially uh, anti anti-Muslim xenophobic white Christians. They'll say something to the extent of like, "Oh, you can't say Allah. Allah is an Arabic word, so you shouldn't say that." But it's like if you're really following the Bible, which has Semitic heritage from the Semitic language, and guess what? Uh, what you would be calling God is something closer to that than you saying God or the God in English. So it's something to think about there. You know what I mean? Sanchez says, "Oh yes, I appreciate the confirmation. Yeah, for sure, my man, for sure." Hey, what part of the world did you say you were at, Sanchez? Are you from uh, the West Coast, the East Coast? Yeah, I didn't get a clarity on that one. Let me know what part of the world you are from, brother. Uh, he says, "I think God speaks to us in different languages. The devil is in the details, as they say." All right. So that's an interesting comment right there. So, all right, guys, we got a lot. We got a good hour in today. Uh, we got to talk about UFC 316 at least a little bit, right? But if you want to hear more about that, check out my previous live stream to this one where I go on a full card prediction. I give a full card prediction and then talk about other things as well. So definitely didn't make it boring. Uh, you look at all these other prediction shows nowadays. I mean, they're all pretty redundant. Well, I think this, well, I think that, or I do a little bit of that too. But within that same video, I talk about other things, bring up other subjects that I think you guys will be very intrigued by. The other subject that we talked about for this one the PSG Champions League win, Hakimi winning his first Champions League title, I believe. And obviously, we talked about his history and his situation where his wife wasn't able to get half of his divorce money because it was under his mom's name, right? Which saved him a lot of money and saved him a lot of headache. And as a result, he became a Champions League champion. And yeah, so that's an interesting story. And that we talked about Khabib and Islam being part of the show. How about iSpeed being part of that show? And iSpeed, I guess, having a little interaction with Khabib. Oh, and here's another thing, right? Many people were very upset with Khabib and why he did not shake that woman's hand, right? And then some people sort of respected it, but I think there's a good lesson that comes out of that video. There's an Islamic lesson behind that. That's just what it is. We just do not interact with women that are a stranger to us. That's just the rules that we live by. And if you really are a true follower and a believer of God and a true Muslim, you're going to follow that to a T. You don't need to be shaking a woman's hand that you don't know. You don't need to be interacting with a woman that you don't know, unless, of course, they are marriage potential to any degree. But other than that, there is no need for interaction with them on that regard. And that's what Khabib stood on. That's what he was about. So, okay. So Sanchez says, I am in Vegas, amigo. I am Las Vegas legal resident Mexican man. Is a respectful gesture. This makes sense. So, okay. Okay, so Las Vegas. So you're from a fight town. That's quite interesting, right there. You know what I mean? There's a lot of fights that are always going on in Vegas. Obviously, the Apex cards are a big thing there now. They got a lot of boxing going on, big boxing events as well all the time. But yeah, man, you live in a pretty fight-orientated town, I would say. So yeah, we talked about Khabib, Islam. We talked extensively about their career, how even though Islam is still the champion right now or is still in the spotlight, Khabib still is the bigger star and Islam is okay with that. I thought that was a really interesting thing to bring up. Also, what else did we talk about with this one? The antitrust situation with the fighters, right? We talked about why a lot of fighters think they deserve more money than what they should. And even with all that, there are some fighters that are going to win a settlement. But will that settlement last? Those were some of the topics that we talked about. We also talked about UFC 316. We talked about Joe Pfeiffer and Kelvin Gastelum. Actually, we didn't get to talk about that as much, right? I was just saying that Kelvin Gastelum is the gatekeeper. And Joe Pfeiffer, well, he's the prospect and he has a chance to prove himself. Obviously, he said something a little bit racist or off color, no pun intended. Not too long ago, said something about Mexico, saying that it was an S-hole country, that he got sick while he was down there. Yeah, now he gets to fight Kelvin Gastelum in New Jersey, something a little closer to his hometown and whatnot. So, what else did we talk about? The antitrust lawsuit that was talked about. We talked about religion. And yeah, man, we got into, a pretty interesting conversation about religion. Sanchez says, perhaps you politely explain to women and smile and say, ma'am, hello to you is not appropriate for my culture to shake your hand, but blessings upon you, maybe something like this. I think Kate Abdu is her name, the soccer presenter. I think she knew and understood that Khabib was not down to do that. But she tried anyway. And as a result, Khabib stood on business. Yeah, he definitely stood on business. All right. Well, with that in mind, guys, thank you for tapping in. Thank you for liking and subscribing. I want to give special shout outs to Sanchez, a new subscribee. Don't forget to like and subscribe, my man. Alex, VR Shorts from London, tapping in. Tony Ramos says, MMA channel. This guy talks about everything but MMA. Well, Tony Ramos, I talk a lot about MMA. I mean, maybe you just come in here when I don't talk about MMA, but I surround my conversation with MMA, and then if it becomes other things, then that's what it is. Alex says, this life is a test. The human body is a blood factory when pain and adrenaline. Okay, yeah, we read that part. So shout outs to Alex. Shout outs to Farmer Armor. He got to see a little bit of my garden here. Sanchez, Alex, VR Shorts. Who else here? Yeah, Alex right here writing cunt. And then a whole bunch of people I had to block. Asuma, shout outs to you. Marty Miller, of course. Shout outs to Marty Miller. Omar Tamim, shout outs to you. Ben, shout out to you. You're banned. I'm banning you up out of here. Raw Dog says he's older. Okay, shout out to Raw Dog. Jetto, shout out to Jetto. Who else? Steven, shout out to Steven. MMA Paradox. Shimshon, shout out to you. Furman Doss, assalamu alaikum to you. Senator, shout out to you. Crane, shout out to you. William Rebels, shout out to you. Deb YT, shout out to you. Crane, shout out to you. Jack Nickerson, shout out to you. And everybody around the world, thank you for tapping in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out all of my content. Check out my new video on John Jones and Tom Aspinall and the date of when it will actually happen. I have some hypothesis onto why this date is going to be at the date that it's at. Check out that latest video right now. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one, inshallah. And then, oh wait, let me read this one last comment. I know, not a story, of course, just a suggestion. Yes, amigo, I subscribe to you in past shows. All right. Well, shout out to everybody in here. Like and subscribe. Check out the new video. I'll see you in the next one, inshallah.